Now let us discuss about RTI Act, which is nothing but Right to Information Act. Let us discuss regarding the objective of the RTI Act. Now RTI Act seeks to make right to information a legal right. It is not the case that only with RTI Act we are able to receive information from the government on demand, but the difference that RTI Act makes is that it makes right to information a legal right. So it is mandatory for the government to disclose the requisite information to citizens whenever it is demanded by them. Okay, so this is the difference that RTI Act makes. So there are legal obligations imposed on the government to disclose information to citizens. This is the objective of RTI Act. Now, what is the need for RTI Act? Now, the need for RTI Act was realized especially with certain experiments which were conducted by certain civil society organizations in the state of Rajasthan. This is closely linked to the social audit which was conducted by some civil society organizations which brought out the cases of corruption against various government officers regarding the implementation of various government schemes. It was through the information which was obtained from the government offices that civil society organizations were able to bring out lot of corruption related cases. So it was then that the need for Right to Information Act was realized. Essentially what Right to Information Act does is that it enhances transparency in public affairs. Whatever information is available with the government which is not sensitive information, all that must be disclosed to citizens so that the citizens can use this information to hold the government accountable whenever there is any misuse of public funds or whenever there is any negligence on the part of government regarding implementation of various schemes and programs. Right, so it has two dimensions. One is transparency and one is accountability. With transparency, you receive information from the government, and using this information, you can hold the government accountable. This is the need for RTI Act in this country. And one more important benefit that you get out of RTI Act is that it enables or empowers citizens to participate in the administration or in the governance of this country. Only when you have information you will be able to engage with the government at an equal level. Otherwise there is severe imbalance of power between the government and the citizens. It is with the information that you receive that will empower you whenever you are negotiating with the government in your day-to-day life. For example, there is a scheme called public distribution system in this country where you get ration goods or subsidized goods from the government. Now, under RTI Act, it is clearly mentioned that whenever the citizen asks information, it must be given. So, if you go and ask information, you will be able to receive how much of rice is being given under PDS system, how much of pulses is being given under PDS system, what is the quantity of kerosene that you're going to get under PDS system. So all this information will be disclosed to you along with the beneficiaries, that is who exactly are you giving these goods to in a particular village. Right, so if a village has, let's say, 1,000 members, maybe 500 members may be part of the beneficiary list, and you are not part of that list. Through the information that you receive from the government, you will be able to realize that your name is not in the list, and you can go and speak with the government or government officials that you meet all the criteria but still you have not been included in the list. Right, so RTI Act, what it does is it empowers citizens with information in their everyday dealings with the government. These are the three benefits which you can see from RTI Act. Alright, now let us also discuss broadly regarding the provisions in RTI Act. It contains the following provisions. One is it gives or it lists the duties of public authorities. It lists the duties of public authorities. It can be in the form of maintenance of records or designating public information officers or voluntary disclosure of information. All these are the duties which were listed out in RTI Act. Now public authorities are nothing but your government, and recently after the Supreme Court's judgment, even the judiciary would be constituted or would come under the definition of public authorities. So you have government on one side and also judiciary on this other side. All of them are part of or fall under the definition of public authorities, and certain duties have been prescribed to these authorities. This is the first part of RTI Act. Then it also contains information regarding the duties of public information officers, right? So how exactly does RTI Act function? Every government office that you go to will designate someone as public information officer. A government employee will be designated as a public information officer, and if you want to file an RTI application, you can go to the public information officer, collect the application form, fill it up, pay some money, 10 rupees or 15 rupees, and submit your application, and the public information officer would process your application and give the requisite information to you, right? So the duties of public information officers have also been highlighted in RTI Act. Okay, and there are strict timelines which are mentioned in the Act itself as to how long should the public information officer take to give information to citizens. Alright. Now the third part of RTI Act is that it prescribes a procedure which we as citizens must follow if we need to get any information from the government. Then it also clearly mentions regarding central and state information commissions. How should they be constituted? What are the qualifications of members to be appointed as Chief Information Commissioner or State Information Commissioner or Information Commissioners? And it also prescribes provisions regarding their tenure, what is the appointment process, what are their powers, what are their functions. All this has been mentioned in the RTI Act. So these two bodies would be considered as statutory bodies and not constitutional bodies. Right. Then finally, it also mentions regarding the exemptions from RTI Act. Certain organizations as well as certain types of information have been exempted from RTI Act. For example, personal information regarding government officers will not be disclosed to you, right? Because it has no relevance to the governance of this country. So that information has been exempted from RTI Act. You cannot receive personal information or you cannot demand personal information regarding government officers. And certain organizations like military agencies as well as intelligence agencies have been exempted from RTI Act. So these are broadly the provisions of RTI Act.